Hello, hello, and welcome to another of today's episodes of Saddest Night Out. My name is Roy, and I am the host of this daily podcast, and it's primarily about music and creative culture in London. Quick heads up, my next live show is Tuesday, the 20th of August at Road Trip and the Workshop on Old Street. That is Saddest Night Out Live, number 3, Tuesday, the 20th of August at Road Trip and the Workshop on Old Street. Free entry, starts at 7:30. I'd love to see some of you there. Today, not today's guest, because there are 2 episodes today. So the guest on this episode of Saddest Night Out was at the same event as Rose White and Jack, who I interviewed on the previous episode. That is New Moon Mondays at the Half Moon in Putney, a venue I first visited on episode 52 of this podcast, and I first met this episode's guest at one of my open mics at Crescent Coffee, which was an open mic I did, I think it was Monday nights. It was a cafe right next door to Mornington Crescent Station, North London, in Camden. And yeah, that cafe has since closed down. But that is where I met today's guest. Together, they are Joss Mogli. Individually, it's Joss Malcolmson on guitar and vocals, Matt James on bass, and Tom Dixon on drums. So they performed at the same event as Rose White and Jack, New Moon Mondays. Also on that lineup was Scott Beaton, but they cancelled, Mungo Parker, Rose White and Jack, Emmett Scanlon, and Joss Mogli, although he was billed as Joss Malcolmson. They were very impressive when I saw them at the open mic, and they were equally impressive at this show. In fact, at the end of this episode, I will also put a little snippet of their performance just to play us out. So when I arrived and I saw their name on the flyer, I thought, wait, I'm pretty sure I've seen them before. Then I saw Joss walk in from the beer garden and thought, yes, I've definitely seen them before. I arrived and was speaking to Rose White and Jack and their friends, and then I said, hold on a moment, I'm just going to go and talk to Joss, see if it is the same person I think it is. I put my head outside. He was at a table with all of his friends, and I said, I think I've met you before. And he said, yeah, I've met you too. And we both remembered the Crescent Coffee open mics, and we talk about it in this chat. So I spoke to Rose White while Mungo Parker was playing, and then we went in and listened to Mungo Parker. Then Rose White played, and after Rose White played, I headed back out to the beer garden to talk to Joss, Matt, and Tom of Joss Mogli. And then after that, we went back in to listen to Emmett Scanlon, and then I watched Joss Mogli finish off the night. So on this chat, I'm speaking to Joss, Matt, and Tom of Joss Mogli. They had a friend film some of it as well. I better get used to being on camera, I guess. So there might be some video on his Instagram as well. And I got a picture taken with them by one of their friends who's a photographer as well. But on this chat, it is the debut on the podcast of Joss, Matt, and Tom as Joss Mogli. Enjoy, and I'll catch up with you afterwards. I am back in the beer garden at the Half Moon in Putney. I'm here with what I imagine are the headline acts for tonight's show. New Moon Mondays. It's Monday nights where they have new artists, each doing a half-an-hour set. I came here to see Rose White and Jack, who've just performed. But upon arriving, I saw the list of performers and thought, wait a minute, I know that name from somewhere. And sure enough, we have crossed paths before. Would you kindly introduce yourself to the listeners?
So we're Joss Mogli. We're kind of becoming a bit of a collective now, but we're a band of musicians rotating different musicians playing different parts. I'm the songwriter, I'm the lead singer and the rhythm guitarist. It alternates, but yeah, we go around and do our thing and play songs.
So it's a collective.
Yeah.
Who's going to be on stage with you tonight?
So tonight we got Matt James on bass, Tom Dixon on drums, and me guitar and singing. But it's only recently become that kind of thing. It is a band, but it's recently become, because we're doing so much, we can't fuel it people can't commit as much as to do it every single day, every night, gigging all the time. So it's become, okay, we'll have like 2 backup bass players, so we have 3 bass players. And it's that kind of thing now. But this is very much the core band. This is the band, but we have backup people that we rotate.
So how long has this version of the collective existed?
This has been just over a year. Yeah, I think it was June last year we had the idea, and then it kind of slowly happened. And then this time last year we started heavily. We kind of went on 2 little weird mini tour things. We kind of called them tours. They weren't proper tours. We were just going around doing loads of gigs, as many as we could. And then it just grew and grew. I just finished my A-levels, and now we're kind of just being like, cool, no more learning, let's go.
Congrats on finishing the A-levels.
Thank you very much.
I suddenly feel very old. Thank you for sharing that. So is it Matt and Tom?
Yeah.
So who joined Joss first?
Oh, it was all at the same time, really.
Yeah.
Joss. So the way it kind of early days was, Joss played a solo set at a local festival thing, and he had loads of like dad bands and people. Oh, you need a band behind you. Like, you've got the sound, but you need a band. Why not do it? So he came to me and was like, "What do you think?" I didn't play bass at the time. I played trombone from as my instrument. So I was like, "Yeah, okay, I'll play bass. Why not? I'll try." I know this guy Tom. You kind of knew Tom.
I'd been to a couple of shows that Tom had played like session drums in, basically, and I just chatted to him here and there. I think I had his number, but I didn't really know him that well.
So Tom, what were your thoughts coming into this?
I was also from the same college. Didn't know Matt so well or you so well. I saw Joss play a solo set at the Boiler Room actually that summer, and it was quite good. I remember you sending me a message like promoting yourself, like, "Hey, I'm playing a show. You should come and see it." I was like, I don't know this guy that well, but he's promoting a show. Sure, I'll go. He goes to the same college.
Yeah.
Where's this college, by the way? Where did you all study?
Reigate.
Yeah, Reigate College.
And where's that?
In Reigate.
Where is Reigate?
Deepest, darkest, sorry.
Miles away from London.
So when I first saw the three of you, it was at an open mic we were doing in Camden.
Yeah.
At a place called the Crescent, I think it was Crescent Cafe,
Yeah.
which no longer exists actually.
Oh, does it not?
No, I know. So we were there while it existed.
Glory days.
I'm hoping us being there and it closing down aren't related. I'm sure it's just pure coincidence. But at the time, it was the three of you, and I think that was in the midst of a bit of a tour you were doing.
Yeah, so we basically, I remember, I think that was, we got together on a Monday, and we learnt 3 songs, and we went on tour on the Tuesday. And it was like an open mic tour though, as in like we were kind of calling it a tour so we could say we went on the summer tour.
Nobody wanted us there.
Yeah.
But we were like, we're going to turn up and play anyway.
Welcome to the tour, everybody. You have no idea who we are.
Open mic, here we are.
That's kind of just how it worked. And we were like, okay, cool, let's just keep gigging. And we just kept going. I think that we did that for about a week. And then we had a bit of time off. We actually learned some more songs, and we did the same thing again. And it was kind of pieced together with a mixture of like showcase nights, open mic nights, like the one that you met us at, and mix in with what I had already booked when I was solo. And then I was just like to the venues, by the way, I have a band now, and they were like, cool, nice one, bring them along. So it was kind of a mixture of proper shows and a mixture of more relaxed kind of evenings in places like little pubs and stuff.
So Josh, you're the songwriter of this collective. How long had you been making music before you started performing?
Well, I mean, I've always been able to play stuff. Like, I've always been able to play guitar and stuff. My family are my family is mostly musicians, and so I've always had the ability. Like, I've always had pianos and guitars kind of at my fingertip. Like, just I've been able to go for it. Songwriting, I think I wrote my first song when I was 11 or 12, and I started taking it seriously at 14. I was like, right, I actually really like this. And then I think at 16 I was like, okay, I'm gonna like go for this. Let's go. And I started like tallying all my timings and like making sure I did X amount of songwriting every day, X amount of guitar every day. Tallied up how many songs I wrote. I think I wrote 112 songs in that year.
Wow.
I haven't written that much since, but that's kind of how it started. I started doing like loads of acoustic shows, then I moved on to loop pedaling, and then it was kind of just like the drummer Mark from a band called Bedroom Boredom turned around at this festival, big up, that Matt mentioned earlier. He was just like, Joss, your loop pedal stuff is cool, but just get a band. Like, it's just easier. So I was just like, yeah, why not?
So were you all at college studying music?
We all did, didn't we?
Yeah.
All in different years, so.
Yeah.
Joss is the baby, I'm the middleman, and then Tom's the oldest.
oldest.
Yeah, me and Tom never went to college at the same time.
Like when Tom left, you were going in. Kind of
but we were in the same. There was kind of a bit of a. And there still is this kind of like a circle of musicians about probably like 4 years between all of them, and we all kind of at that college that we all kind of morphed together. So that I went to the gig that Tom was playing drums at, and that's where I first met him. I think that was when I first met him. I'm not sure, but
So
like
with
that kind of thing.
With this specific collective, your music, Joss, how do you have like EPs, albums? Are there bodies of work of music, or is it just songs that just keep flowing, and whoever's in your collective at that time, you teach it to them and away you go?
I guess so, but we've never had. There's never been. It's never kind of been like, right, cool, that's that done. Let's get a new lot in. Like it's always been us three. It's like throughout all of it, and then we've always had like people coming in and out. And it's always been. We kind of messed around with. We did do an EP, but from that, like I think for the foreseeable future, it'll be more like singles because it's more like fast food music. It's what gets you onto. It sounds really bad, but what gets you onto Spotify playlists. That's
I'm
what
thinking
it
the
is.
same way, so it's really interesting to hear you say that,
Yeah.
because most musicians are thinking, got this EP coming out or this album, etc. But for someone to just say just singles, that's really interesting. And yeah, I think you're right. That's the best way to feed the Spotify machine, is keep the singles coming. So how many singles ahead are you thinking? How much do you have in the chamber?
So there's three there's one that's is released this month, at the end of the month, and then there's essentially one a week. Not one a week, one a month. One a month.
Okay.
No.
Suddenly felt very lazy. Like, 1 week down. What am I doing myself? I'm nowhere near that. One a month. Okay. Yeah.
No. So we've got three of them recorded. I'm still in the process of mixing them, and then we've got another one which I definitely want to release called Drunk Town, which we've actually been discussing making a video about, and that is not recorded. It's not even completely finished writing, but it's written. It's everything's there. It's just creating more music out of it, making more like overdubs, extra stuff for more people to play. That kind of make it a bit more interesting. So kind of 3 or 4 songs ahead at the moment.
And is your writing recording process solitary? Like, are you the 112 songs in a year? Is that part of the brain still working, churning out songs? Is it more of a group thing when you're writing?
No, it's always been I'll come to the band with a guitar part and lyrics, and like this is the song. Let's work out the different parts. Sometimes I'll like we've now got a second guitarist who isn't here tonight, but I would come to him with the parts already written, and then maybe for the backing vocals that we'll work together on it. But for the actual songwriting itself, it's kind of just been me locked away in my room, like kind of just, I don't know, I feel like it's a very personal thing, and I'd rather keep it personal. Although saying that, this week I do have like 3 days of writing with people I've never written before. So it's I do want to expand my horizons and start writing with more people, because it's always been by myself, and I feel very stale in that sense.
Okay. And Matt and Tom, you've spoken about how it's mainly been the 3 of you in this group, but have either of you two been in other people's bands then? What's your musical history like? We'll start with you, Matt.
I play trombone. I've always played in like orchestras, big bands. That's been my thing, big like jazz fan. Me and Tom at the moment actually play in the same big band. We're both at the University of Surrey. We're both in the big band there. In terms of like bass and kind of more popular music, I guess, not for anyone else, just Joss. Maybe one day, I don't know. Maybe if I get sick of him.
I mean, Joss just...
Oh, he's giving me a stern look.
I already mentioned
I was
how...
planning on walking out tonight, so...
Let's go.
Oh, did you have the same plan?
My curse continues of bringing the end, bringing the death knell to everywhere I go. And Tom, what about you?
Yeah, so I have quite a jazz background. Like as Matt said, we both play in the same big band. A lot of my playing is university based at the moment. So from moving on from college, I've sort of been in a few like small bands, it's like pop bands, a few jazz bands, doing the odd thing. Yeah.
Neither of you are making your own music or pursuing your own type of thing. You're happier playing with other people?
Not making as such. I might sit down with a guitar and fiddle around and I like that, or get Logic open. I make a beat, but I don't make music. I leave that to Joss. For the professional, we are a band. That's Joss's zone.
Yeah. And yeah, Tom, same with you?
Yeah, I like to write sort of arrangements, more jazz like orientated stuff. But then I also like coming to Joss and Joss saying, "Oh, look, this is a song I've written," and I'll go, "Oh, what if the beat was like this?" and like throwing something into the mix that maybe Joss might not have thought of, but I have thought of, and then suddenly with all our influences, it turns into something different.
Yeah, no, it's very much. I don't feel like the song is finished until Tom's done his drums. Tom is like, it doesn't. But I know, but we've had people say that just like, yeah, your songs are cool, but they're made really cool by Tom. It does feel like it.
No pressure.
No,
yes. You better keep it coming, Tom. You better keep it coming.
The songs are just not good, and then suddenly.
So, Joss, where can people follow along with what you do next? Where's the best place to find you online?
Instagram is where we are most heavily, and Facebook and Twitter is growing. It's there. It's not. Instagram is the one to go for.
And what's your name on Instagram?
Joss Mogli. JOSSMOGLI.
Okay, the Joss Mogli Collective. On that very triumphant note, thank you all very much for talking to me, and good luck with your show tonight. Thank you very much. And that was that. Thank you very much to Joss, Matt, and Tom for your time. It was a really, really nice night. I mean, you can hear it in the conversations. Joss, Matt, and Tom were great. Rose White and Jack were great. Their friends were great. The performances were great. Just great all round. Well done, everybody involved. And I can't help but see so many similarities in what Joss is doing and what I'm doing, except I'm a lot more tight-fisted with my material, whereas he seems happy to arrive with a skeleton and flesh it out with whoever is with him at the time. And they do a really good job of fleshing it out, as you'll hear in the snippet of their show that I'll put at the end of this episode. And they are great at talking about what it is they do. It's interesting to hear that he's thinking more in terms of singles than in EPs or albums. I think that is an interesting look towards what might be the future of music distribution, where the focus is much more heavily on singles. I don't know why I'm saying future. I think we're already living in that reality. I think a lot of artists at this stage are more inclined to release an EP, but one song at a time, rather than releasing just an EP as a whole, because when you release an EP as a whole, you have some attention around the time of the release, and then that's it. But if you drip feed it a song at a time, you can elongate the time that their attention is placed upon you. Getting a bit tongue-tied there. So it's interesting to hear him outwardly say that's the approach he's going for. 121 songs in a year, and then that's like, maybe it was a Freudian slip there when he said a song a day, not a song a week. And I really did feel a panic of, oh my goodness, right, that's it, I've got to go back to the drawing board. Clearly I'm going about this all wrong if this person's doing a song a week. But they are clearly an impressively prolific talent at songwriting. And even during their performance, Rose said to me, like, where did he find these musicians? And I said they all studied together. Well, at the same place. Because they are fantastic. And again, you will hear that at the end of this episode. So thank you again, Joss, Matt, and Tom. Thank you again to Rose and Jack. Thank you to everyone at the Half Moon in Putney. Boy, was it a long journey there. Boy, was it a long journey home. I think it was maybe 30 train stops on one train to get from the station for that show to the station where I live, all the way across London, but it was worth it, and I didn't fall asleep on the way home thanks to Sainsbury's cookies. So thank you all very much for listening. Once again, my next live show is Tuesday the 20th of August at Road Trip and The Workshop. By the way, you can find Rose White and Jacko on Facebook if you search facebook.com/OSRODKAAA. That is Omega Sierra Romeo Omega. Wait, no, Oscar Sierra Rodeo. I don't know the phonetic alphabet, okay? But if you search for OSRODKAA, you should find them on Facebook. And Joss Mogli, JOSSMOGLI on Instagram, you should find them as well. But for now, thank you all very much for listening. Feel free to let me know what you think at saddestnightout@gmail.com. I've still got a website to build. Why are websites so confusing? But I'll get there. Thank you for listening. I will catch you on the next episode, and I'll leave you with some audio from Joss Mogli live at the Half Moon in Putney. Take care.
how's it going? Thank you very much. We are Joss Mogli. We're here to play some tunes for you. We're playing all originals tonight. That song was called Wallpaper. It's coming out at the end of the month. Keep your eyes out for that. This next song is called Breathe.